Hello everyone. Today is Thursday, March 31st, 2022 at 12:21 a.m. in the morning. I just got out of the shower and just before I turned on the video, they had paramedic perps that just passed by to harass me. And so I also heard some sirens when I got in the tub to take a bath as well. So, um, but I, you know, spent yesterday afternoon just like journaling and blogging and stuff, and um, yesterday at the very last second, it was, no warning in a brief moment, because I heard, I don't know why I kept on thinking yesterday was Thursday, but now today is Thursday. It's after midnight and today is Thursday, but I don't know why I kept on thinking that yesterday was Thursday. So, right now as we speak, Wednesday night / Thursday morning is, they have, I can hear it, like they have like the tornado and bad weather, and I'm thankful and glad to, not be on the streets. And if they got tornado going on right now, and they're still, this is the second time within a span of like probably 45 minutes that they harass me with the sirens and stuff. So yesterday evening, I took a quick peek outside to see if the weather was starting to be, starting to go bad, but the weather was fine. But the very instant I unlocked and opened the door, it was a red car pulling out of the like making that turn to pull out of the motel complex. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a coincidence. I didn't even plan in advance, or I didn't think about it. I just randomly, quickly, within a split second, you already driving off the premises as I quickly open the door, and you're already, on the other side, driving onto the street, coming from off the property, like as if you already passed by here. And it's like, as I said, you can be as a targeted individual, you can be as spontaneous as you want, and they still get you, and they got you before you knew you got you. So just like there have been times when Alex Dupree, would start following, harass me everywhere. I would change up my routine and he would still make it there before me. And it's like, how, if I made a last minute decision to suddenly change, at the very last minute or the very last second, and it's like, if I make a move to go somewhere else, then you're still there anyway. It's like you think about, what I'm gonna think before I think, and that's really creepy. That is really creepy and scary. I can't believe I'm going through this. So, but also I noticed that at this motel, like at the bottom of the doorstep to, all of our the doorstep to all of our motel rooms, they painted it yellow. So I just noticed that too, because that was the only time I quickly stepped outside, was to I just quickly stepped outside to go and take a peek at what the weather might be like. But when I was taking my bath and soaking in the tub and stuff, I didn't do a detox soak. I just took just, put water in a tub and then lay down and relaxed in it. And I was hearing the howling winds, and, I even saw a little bit of lightning. I didn't really hear any thunder, but, it seemed like as if I miraculously made the bath water temperature so perfect that I wish I could have taken a detox bath. But it was just a regular bath. And so I'm feeling refreshed and clean. And I'm still battling, feeling down and feeling depressed and stuff. And I'm feeling anxiety and scared, about having to be back on the streets next Friday, the 8th. Probably. It's like I'm scared because, I would like to, get that opportunity to, ask for more help. I don't need it this week, but, I would like to, be trying to warn people in advance or ask people in advance for help. And I forgot. I can't believe I did recently forget quite a bit, forgot all about that opening doors. That organization blocked me. And so now I couldn't get help from opening doors for them to help me get back on my feet and get housing. Because I talked about how, one of the employees being a perp and pulling a perp move on me. So then Starbricker, she saw my tweet on Twitter and showed them an opening doors. They blocked my phone number, so I can't get any help from them. But that lady, I cannot think of her first name at the moment, but her last name was Bridges. And she was from the Caribbean. I think she was Jamaican. And so, yeah, because she gave me false promises and false hopes to help me out. And then she went AWOL on me. And then 2 months later, I tried to contact her again, and she got an attitude with me. And so, I mentioned on Twitter about how, opening doors employee, they participate in the doggone gang stalking too. Because the lady gave me false hopes and said that they have funding and that they have a way to help me and stuff like that. So, and then the CEO of the organization, I have no way I can get to contact him or straighten it out, but he damn sure wouldn't want to hear me talking about it. I couldn't talk about gang stalking to him, So that's another. Opening doors has failed me more than once with trying to get back on my feet and trying to get housing. And I heard that they did that to quite a few people. But if you hear it from the fake TI perps and regular perps, that I'm just the fake freeloading leech who wants to just, I'm a fake freeloading leech who just wants, handouts and stuff. So they're the only big organization that could have helped me. In New Orleans, Unity was pretty much the equivalent of opening doors. And Unity, they made it as if they couldn't do much of anything for me. I couldn't stay in a Salvation Army shelter because they didn't care to do anything about the bed bug infestation. And if I gotta pay $300 to stay there, then where is our money going? If y'all don't care about fixing the bed, y'all don't care about correcting the bed bug problem at the Salvation Army in New Orleans. And because of the bedbug problem at Salvation Army New Orleans and that narcissistic bully, Miss Francois, that old hag, and also, you know, then Waterfront, I'm sorry, them two, they're called too, but New Orleans Mission is a cult, and they're big, they're like a prison scam cult that's bedbug infested, and and so I mean, so that was the result of me ending up having to be back totally on the streets, totally living on the streets, homeless in my hometown. And, none of my family members cared to take me in. Drunk lady Yvonne, my aunt, wouldn't take me in, but she took Sean in for a brief moment, the biological brother Sean. And that biological sister, the retard Ramona, she took Sean in for a brief moment. And I thought she changed. But nah, she went back. Sean tried to say that, she went back to trying to bully him and take advantage of his money and take it and go gamble it all up again. And then they got into a heated argument, and then he ended up being forced to be back on the streets again. And then after that, he some kind of way he got him an apartment or got him back on his feet, and he wouldn't even let me stay with him. And plus, also, he acted like it was a secret, like he didn't want to tell me what organization he went through, so I can go get my own housing or get housing again. But see, when Sean, he's considered disabled too. But Sean is like humble and, like a man version of me, I guess, But one thing about Sean is when he gets something good, he didn't used to be like that. It's like Pete, the biological brother Pete, the oldest one, he brainwashed Sean and got Sean acting all kinds of different and stuff. So when Sean get something a little bit good, then he started to get big headed and arrogant. And Pete put Sean up into trying to act like that, And then when whatever Sean gets, if it gets taken away from him, then he'll go back to kissing ass and acting, kissing people's ass and being needy and dependent, and he'll humble himself then. So Sean didn't even show me how I could get my own place, and he didn't tell me want to tell me the organization. And then he made up a lie and said that that the apartment people said that he couldn't have visitors. When truthfully he just didn't want me over. So, but other family members poisoned his head, to make him think that, that I'm the one who's evil and out to hurt him. So then he got his guard up against me and get defensive and don't take no shit off me at all, even if I'm trying to be nice and helpful. And, they have times when, like one time me and Sean had a big heated argument because he begged me to come walk to the store with him and buy him breakfast. And so I took him to the store and with this little bakery or restaurant or this little bakery or whatever, and bought him what he wanted to eat. And I shared it, half for me and the other half for him. And what he did was he went and walked around the corner, and within like 2 or 3 minutes came walking back by me. And I said, well, Sean, did you eat the food that quickly? And he lied and said, yeah, he ate it. So then, so I figured, I knew he threw it away. Or threw it somewhere. And so, that was my money being wasted. So me and him had got into an heated argument about that. And I think that was the day after I got. If it weren't for then, it was another time. But I really think it was that day. Um, that it was the day after I came back from Los Angeles and went through all that shit in 2018. Was sleep deprived and under high stress already. And so, I couldn't take it anymore. I was going through way too much. And I had an outburst and lost my temper and blacked out and kicked him. And he tried to play victim, said, "Oh, she kicked me." And then as abusive as Ramona is, she wanted to try to talk about, "Oh, well, why you kick that boy?" Well, shut up, cause you've been violent and abusive towards me numerous times. And so I mean, Sean, you're a grown doggone man, But Ramona took Sean back in the very next day. If she said that them two had an argument, and she said that Sean took a picture frame off the wall and threw it at her and nearly hit her, or that he tried to throw it at her or something like that. And then she took him back in the very next day. See, this is what I'm talking about. But all I told Ramona, the last words I ever said to her was, "You're evil and satanic." And she told me, she tried to copy off my Aunt Yvonne and try to show me the door. And told me, "You ain't got nothing else to say to me," And I never. That was in October 2018, and me and her have not contacted each other since. No, that was no. Well, I did say, you're evil and satanic, and she said, "Well, you always, yeah." She's like, "Everybody always gotta be evil and part of some satanic cult." Yeah, you're a witch, part of the satanic. You're an evil witch that's part of the satanic gang stalking cult. That's the evil satanic cult you're part of. And so then I say, "Well, you're twisted and retarded," because I mean she called me retarded before. And so then, "Oh, you ain't got nothing to say to me." And now you eternally mad at me now. And so, I mean, because, I mean, if Yvonne wouldn't have, I mean, Ramona just wanted to try to copy off what Yvonne did to me, my aunt did to me the day before. Because if I wouldn't have told Ramona about what Yvonne did to me, then Ramona wouldn't have kicked me out. We probably would have still been arguing, because Ramona ain't so easy to kick other people out. And her boyfriends have called her way worse names. And these fuckers are hitting me in my heart with the directed energy weapons at the moment. Yeah, this is freaking slow murder. The gang stalkers, they hit me in the heart with the directed energy weapons right now. My heart is so tight. See? Now, after I just mentioned it, now the pain stopped. It's gone. Now it doesn't hurt no more. There's no tightness or pain on my heart or my chest no more. Y'all see that? Sorry, y'all. But yeah, they would hit me with the energy weapons in my heart and just put intense, painful pressure on my heart. And then, the more I kept talking, that's the more painful it got. And then just now, when I said, "Well, they're hitting me in the heart with the energy weapons," and now all of a sudden, the pain stopped. I'm not a freaking hypochondriac. So, yesterday, the 30th, I didn't get to mention in the previous videos, but yesterday the 30th was the biological sister Belinda, the oldest one who we never got to meet. It was her birthday, and she would have been 59 years old. And then on April 7th is Belinda's death anniversary. And then the 8th is that retard Ramona's criminal, illegal, satanic birthday. You know, so, I mean, I heard that, I mean, and one thing I wanted to say was, I honestly do not know the truth about Belinda and Ramona's relationship with each other, how they truly got along, you know, throughout the years. But Ramona put on this front, like as if, and she even copied off of what Missy Elliott said about Aaliyah. That Missy Elliott said that there's nothing negative you can say about Aaliyah. Ramona said there's nothing negative that you can say about Belinda. And I'm like, you're fake and full of shit and just, you know, pretending to be all, you know, fake complimenting and speaking highly of her just because she's deceased. But if Ramona made it like as if she loved Belinda so unconditionally, what did me and my twin sister Brandy do that bad to deserve for her to treat us so horribly and for her to dog us over and do us dirty and be like just highly jealous of both of us? And she doesn't have not one positive word to say about, you know, me or my twin sister. And Ramona dreads my presence until or unless I have the right amount of money for her to take advantage of, to go to Harrah's Casino and gamble it all up. And she act like she hates me and Sean. And then she will be the chief ringleader and, you know, being so possessive and jealous that she would try to be messy and try to manipulate me and Sean into arguing and not getting along. So, but like Ramona, over the smallest thing, she will hold like the longest grudges, and then lie and say, "Oh, I ain't got time for no grudges." Lie and say she ain't got time for no grudges. But you know, big stuff like that, Sean trying to throw something at your head, you know, and then you take him back in the next day. But then when it come to me, you know, I got into, you know, an argument with her and say you're twisted and retarded, and oh, I'm permanently banned, you know, from her house or whatever. But I didn't want to be over there anyway because she was bed bug infested. And then deliberately and on purpose didn't want to do anything about the bed bug problem. And so she got mad at me. It's like as if she wanted the bed bugs on purpose. And it's like as if she enjoys living in a cluttered, filthy house, nasty house with, you know, a filthy, cluttered house with a whole bunch of roaches. But then back in 2003 or 2004, I think it was 2004, me and her got into a heated argument. Or was it one of those years, 2003 or 2004, me and her got into a heated argument. No, it was probably somewhere between 2002 and 2004. One of those years, me and her got into a heated argument because I felt like I didn't want to offend her or hurt her feelings by telling her, you know, I didn't feel comfortable with being in her house because it was too dirty and full of roaches. But I felt like I didn't feel comfortable using the bathroom at her house because it was dirty and filthy and full of roaches. And she got mad at me and cussed me out, and went a long time without talking to me. But but I made an excuse and lied and said that the bathroom was too small, or I didn't feel comfortable the bathroom was too small. But that wasn't it. It wasn't about the bathroom being too small, but it was because of it, being filthy and just dirty and uncomfortable. And so she got offended by that. But even her own kids were living with her, and all they did was, Raymond and Monica, all they did was, talk back to her and disrespect her and you know, talk shit to her and stuff, and drive her up the wall and do stuff on purpose to make her mad. And she was like defenseless and scared of her own kids, but think she can have such strong, control and discipline and trying to handle me. Ooh, it's some lightning now. So, she thought she could, discipline and handle me and stuff. But I don't know that much about Belinda's life, you know. Like, Ramona, she'll try to say that Belinda was just depressed. But then we suffer depression too, but you don't care about that. And then Ramona tried to force me and Sean to be quiet and not be vocal about our foster care abuse. Like, she tried to force me and Sean to shut up about, the foster care abuse and stuff like that. But far as I know, I only had two phone conversations with the biological sister, Belinda, the oldest. And then after Belinda died, Ramona narcissistically bragged about being the oldest, like as if she couldn't wait for Belinda to die so she can have her spot as being the oldest. And then talking about, well, I'm the oldest one living. And I talked on my first Psych World channel about, the foster mom I was 19 years old, and the foster mom, Adrian Felder, restricted me from going to Milwaukee to go to see the biological sister Belinda's funeral. You see her still being controlling after we even got out of foster care. And I had to deal with, control and abuse and infantilization from both foster family members and biological family members, that they try to coercively control me and infantilize me, and yet they give zero fucks about me, no care at all about me. So, I'm fighting for my rights to live my doggone life. That, I'm 38 years old. You ain't gonna try to order me around and tell me what to do and try to control me, and yet and restrict my happiness and freedom, and then you care nothing about me. That's not fair at all. And then they try to make me feel like as if I'm super not capable of doing anything at all, like as if I'm too slow and retarded to know how to turn on the faucet to get me a cup of water or something. But I do this every day. But because if I'm in their presence, they want to try to dictate or try to correct and control how I should, fix myself a glass of water. So, I honestly, as I said, it's very painful, about how Ramona only cares temporarily, pretends to care about me or my twin sister or certain other family members, depending on the amount of dollars you have to offer her. But then when you're low on money, she gives zero fucks about you. Or if you have money and, you don't want to give it to her, she'll try to set you up to get locked up in jail or the mental institution or some shit and try to make you out to look really crazy. But she's the most selfish, dirty motherfucker, that mentally off, slow retard that I ever in my fucking life met. And I hope that, I don't even know, I just feel like I've tried to love everybody in the doggone family throughout the, years ago and throughout the years and stuff. No matter what skin color, race, or anything like that. I mean, if we all, Creole, mixed, black, whatever, from New Orleans. And Ramona tried to, keep me totally isolated and won't allow me to contact other family members. And, extremely possessive, controlling, and jealous, and a fucking witch. Practice voodoo witchcraft. I mean, the biological mom, Frances, had some siblings. And, Ramona wouldn't even let me contact those aunts and uncles. And also, she definitely blocked me from Arthur's side of the family. And my Aunt Yvonne's husband Daryl's side of the family, Ramona poisoned their head and make them hate me too. For no reason at all, And then my cousin, whore Rebecca, been hating my guts since we were 14 years old. Since she was 14 and I was about 21 years old. And it was ever since 2005, before Hurricane Katrina. And they had that incident with one of her neighbors that set me up to almost get arrested. And then Rebecca been, acting, because I didn't, like Rebecca's neighbor, that Verda girl, she was a narcissistic perp. And so if Verda was the chief narc and Rebecca acted like a flying monkey, that's my fucking flesh and blood. And till this day, Rebecca still hates my guts and wants nothing to do with me. My niece Monica hates my guts and wants nothing to do with me. My nephew Raymond, at least I give him the credit that at least when he last saw me, he at least wanted to try to get, I'm starting to freaking get all emotional. But he at least had enough freaking care, to try to invite me back over to the family. And that was, Raymond was the last family member I saw in person at the end of 2018. In the end of 2020, Mark was the last family member I talked to over the phone or contacted. And that wasn't even genuine. Motherfucker, you ain't seen or contacted me in all these damn years. And then you have a brief phone conversation with me and then make up a lie for an excuse to not talk to me and make false promises. Oh, I'm going to call you back later. And then I never fucking hear from you. But then you go on Mark's Instagram. He got the same last name as me. You go on his Instagram and he got all these fake ass Bible scriptures. But there was a point in time before I became a Christian, it seemed like he was shoving religion down my throat or trying to shove the Bible down my throat, but then was hateful, controlling, and abusive, and a fucking perp. Very disrespectful. So, yeah. I throw everybody under the bus after you done me dirty and betrayed me. And I air everybody out and let the whole fucking world know what y'all did to me. I even tell what I did to y'all asses. I never said I was perfect. But I'm not gang stalking nobody. You know. And Mark is the type of person, he's dangerous. And very sneaky and secretive. Because what he'll do is, he'll be the type of person to sneakily and slyly and covertly go behind your back and try to seek some way to get conservatorship over you. He hasn't done it, but he's that type to do something like that. And if he hated and couldn't stand a foster mom, Adrian Felder, but just like my twin sister, in some ways, Wyatt too, Mark has adopted a lot of ways like the foster mom, and like very, possessive and controlling. Oh yeah, I ought to turn the phone toward the window. Now, see, look. So if I was still on the streets and had nowhere to go, y'all hear this weather? Y'all hear it. So if I was on the streets and had nowhere to go, how is that scam and fraud to ask for money, to get in a hotel or a motel room to stay safe for the night? But I'm wondering if the people who practice witchcraft, if they put a spell on me that bad to make even other targeted individuals hate me and not want to be around me or not want to associate with me. You know, that basically I'm just broken and have no doggone body. And it's like the children in the biological family, the children, they still kind of had a respect for me because it's like they still had their innocence. But Rebecca's daughter, at the time she was 9 years old, Janiyah, a couple of times started to get an attitude and get disrespectful towards me. But Malia and Lil Randy, Monica's kids, they always respected me. So, and Raymond's daughter, Terrielle, I don't hear much about her, but I only saw her once in my life. And she acted like she was 7 years old and tall and big. And she acted like she had an aversion towards me, but she was still a kid, So, Raymond's son, little Raymond, or Raymond, or whatever his name is, I never met him, or I never saw him. And my biological brother, Derek, I only met I don't know how many kids he has, but his son, Derek Jr., was the only one of his kids I ever met. I'm just showing y'all basically how I'm like estranged from the family. I heard rumor that Mark secretly has a child running around, but I don't know about all that though. But me, I'm just off to myself, single, no kids. I didn't want my life to be this way. I wanted to get married, but now I'm starting to feel like it's too late. And I felt like if I were to get married, the gang stalkers would try to, sabotage the marriage. And they would probably sabotage the marriage before it would happen, unless it would be a perp. I would hate to marry a perp. Ooh, wow, look, you see that? Wait a minute, I'm trying to. Yeah, it's like every time I turn my phone. Yeah, I'm trying to show y'all the badass lightning. Yeah, the weather is really bad right now. So, because of the weather being like this so often, it's that doggone season. With the weather being so bad, I mean, I I gotta this is how I gotta be forced to live. But what if, if I was still on the streets tonight, on a night like this, and have no overhead? Ooh, wow. That's funny because all this kind of weather is spring weather here in Pensacola. But the lightning and thunder and all that is summer weather in New Orleans, my hometown. So yeah, I mean, so y'all at least have audio proof of this being bad weather. Dang, I'm wondering if the weather is being semi controlled because every time I turn my phone towards the window, no lightning. But then when I turn the phone back to my face, then it's all the lightning. See what I mean? They already try to manipulate already bad weather, and they still try to find covert ways to try to manipulate what's already bad weather. But see, I got the phone turned towards the window. Okay, now y'all see a little bit, but got the most lightning, you know. But as I said, I mean, my family has not given me a penny. They don't do shit for me. I don't ask my family for nothing. And they do not care about me being in this gang stalking program. I cannot tell Mark the truth because of him being mentally off and slow and retarded and narcissistic and gay and all that. You know, he'll be the type of person, if I told him like the flat out truth about the gang stalking, he'll make sure I'm locked up in him. That's the thing he worships, is to have me, locked up in a mental institution or jail. He will always make jail threats. If I stood up to him trying to abuse and control me, you know, or trying to take advantage of me and try to use me and stuff, the first thing he would do is, make jail threats or threats to get me locked up in a mental institution. But I said before, I am deeply hurt that I recently saw, online about my twin sister posting up a stranger's GoFundMe, somebody way in Canada, and offered her support and words words of encouragement. I mean, she donated some money to her and shared her GoFundMe, but it's like our relationship is very fucked up, and it stems from foster care. That my twin sister's brainwashed, and other family members too, brainwashed to, feel cold hearted because our relationship ain't supposed to be the way it is. But the idea of it being so bad that my twin sister telling everybody, don't donate to Candy, she's a scammer and a fraud, while you donating to strangers in Canada. I'm your identical twin, but then you feel like you can have more love and care for strangers you'll never know. But our relationship should be close enough that she ought to be defending my fight with the doggone gang stalking and spreading and sharing my GoFundMe. But her telling everybody, including in weather like this last year, her telling everybody don't help her, don't support her, there she go manipulating and lying for money and stuff like that. And it's I'm deeply hurt. So, I mean, it seemed like as if my nephew Raymond, tried to straighten himself out, at least. None of the family would believe me. Wyatt might believe me if I were to tell him about, being a targeted individual and dealing with gang stalking. Because Wyatt would do stuff like, he'll call me up and then tell me about this when he was staying like in some I think Wyatt was supposedly homeless or something too. Like, how the hell me, Wyatt, and Sean dealing with being homeless? But then eventually Wyatt went to live with Mark or something like that. But Wyatt would call me up telling me about some serial killer who, but it's like, I was wondering what the hell was going on. It's like, I thought that Wyatt was just playing a game with me because he don't talk to other family members about this serial killer. Trying to say that when he was living in a hotel or something in Houston, Texas, that there was this serial killer, that was stalking, following, and harassing him everywhere. But he didn't talk about like a multiple people stalking him. But then Wyatt acted like a perp towards me. Wyatt was a perp, or and Wyatt would, try to get money out of me or try to use me for money or try to take advantage of me. So like August 2019, I think it was for my birthday, me and my twin sister's birthday, Wyatt called me up asking for money. But then didn't want to hear it when I told him about the argument me and my twin sister had like the day before. But if she made up a lie about me or we got into an argument, then, oh yeah, he'll listen though. And other family members too, they'll be receptive and listen. But when it come to me, oh, ain't nobody got time to hear your drama or your foolishness. Or, ain't, when it come to me telling the truth. But, I mean, and my cousin Daryl Jr., who they call Do, the last few moments that I saw him, he acted abnormal and out of character. You know what? Come to think of it, maybe Do was the last family member I probably saw, because I rode the Elysian Fields bus with him a few times. And, one time me and him got into a heated argument on a bus when I tried to talk to him. And he just verbally lashed out on me and went off on me and wanted nothing to do with me and had nothing to say to me. And then the narcissistic perp bus driver only yelled at me and threatened to put me off the bus and not him. But, family members, they would rather stay grudgeful towards me, and they hate me strongly because of lies, false rumors, and smear campaigns. And so I even try to apologize to him, even though I wasn't in the wrong and I shouldn't have had to, because he was perping me. And I, called myself trying to reconcile and apologize for the argument. And he's like, no, I don't want to hear it, because all you would do the same, all you're going to do is just do the same thing over and over again. And like, they must have did something, because if dude is considered mentally slow and quote unquote retarded and off and mentally disabled and stuff, it's like a David Jane kind of number all over again, because dude was quiet, minded his business, stayed to himself. Dude would have never acted like a perp. Dude used to always be respectful towards me. But then they got him on the ball with gang stalking and perping me and gaslighting me. But the argument between me and Yvonne, Dew was perping me. And then Yvonne was drunk out of her mind. And, it seems like with Yvonne, it's like levels of her drunkenness. Because when Yvonne is sober, she's a mean bitch. When she's a little more than tipsy, she'll pretend to be overly friendly and affectionate and kissing you all in your face. And then when she gets too drunk, then she'll go off and cussing you out, trying to fight you and stuff. And that was the only one argument in my life I had with Yvonne. She called herself trying to kick me out and show me the door. And me and her, for the first time and only time in my life, me and her had a heated argument. And she was always disrespectful and abusive and hated me for no, and spoke so horribly about me for no reason. I'm her fucking niece. And so, she also lives by the reputation that I'm crazy. But she's mentally off and slow too. Like my twin sister, she say that the whole family is retarded. Yeah, people say that, any kind of narcissistic family with this one scapegoat, if me and Sean were considered the chief scapegoats of the family because of us because of us not being the combination of not being light skinned and plus being seen by society as quote unquote retarded. But Dew is, light skinned. So he gets, better treatment because he's light skinned despite being mentally disabled. But Dew was nice and respectful and stuff like that. But then they must have got him to perform some satanic ritual too, because he got a personality I never saw in him before. Like a fucking demon now. And everybody defended and agreed with him because of him being against me because of him being light skinned. It's like he must have performed a satanic ritual where a demon entered him where he got strong hatred towards me, because in 2015, before I went down to New Orleans, Dew, he would call me and talk to me, and we would, talk on the phone, and I tried to attempt to get close to certain family members. I even attempted to try to get close to the biological brother Pete, and all he did was use me, abuse me, take advantage of me, dog me out, do me dirty, and acted distrustful against me based on the lies, false rumors, and smear campaigns before he can even get to know me. I wish that Monica and Rebecca or anybody could sit down and get to know the real Candy Grandpre, the real me. But I have just about an entire fucking family. They all hate me unconditionally. They hate me without cause unconditionally. I didn't even, if Monica and them turned against me, I didn't even get to familiarize or get to, it's not fair. And Monica has this I will kill you kind of I fucking hate your guts kind of strong hatred towards me. And I didn't even do Monica nothing. But as a result, after all their abuse and torture and everything like that, now I'm calling her hell-faced ugly Monica. After the way she been treating me and hating my guts and avoiding to talk to me all these years, And then Monica's version of pretending to be fake nice on a rare moment would be to treat me like I'm super retarded with not a lick of sense. And then trying to bully, harass, and lecture me about bad behavior. When you hate me for no reason, and when I call you out and try to tell you off about yourself, I'm the one with the bad behavior. I'm the fake Christian hypocrite with the bad behavior. And I'm 3 years older than her, and she's disrespectful enough to try to call me little girl. As I said, no respect, no zero fucking respect. And Ramona sit there and encourage and allow, the disrespect and abuse, and don't want to hear my side. And she wouldn't even try to talk to Monica and say, hey, don't treat Candy like that. That she family. You know what? No, none of that. Because Ramona sit there and let it happen. Because she was one of the chief people who probably, brainwashed her own child to hate me. Put stuff in Monica's head, make everybody hate me. Put stuff in people's head and make them hate me. And she even, brainwashed and turned to, friends of the family, like Miss Jackie and Miss Joyce and, and those other, friend of the family. Ramona always want to show me off to her friends and extended family. And when she want to flaunt me off and stuff, but then she already, and it's like, then they getting attitudes with me and treating me mean, and they don't even know me. Like, if Ramona sent me to this birthday party by her friend, Vanessa is now deceased, Vanessa's daughter, Terica, or whatever her name is. And Terica at the birthday party, Monica and Ramona, they got an attitude with me, and we had an argument or whatever, and it was in 2015, and so when me and Ramona, we got into an argument or whatever, and then Monica, started to, acting secretive and acting extra fucking weird around me. And Monica, she was driving reckless in that white Dodge Charger. I think it was it was a red Dodge Charger. And she was blasting music super fucking loud and speeding on a highway and making me feel unsafe in the car. And like blasting loud music like a man and speeding and driving reckless, make me feel uncomfortable and unsafe in the car. Monica does not know how to drive. So, then, they didn't even tell me, the rundown or say, well, hey, it's like, well, if they were mad at me or secretly mad at me, why would they invite me to this party if they were mad at me? They wait till after we got to Ross and they went to shopping and Monica, waited till the last minute and thought it was cool to show up super late to the party. Like the party was almost over by the time we finally arrived, and Yvonne was over there. And I was wondering why was Monica doing stuff like acting immature and acting like she thought she was too good to sit on the same sofa as me and stuff like that. And I didn't even do Monica anything, but Ramona put some lie in her head to make her act that way. And so Yvonne pretended to defend me at the time and said that they acted like that because they're jealous. Like, she even acknowledged they act like that because they're jealous, and she's jealous too. So then this was in 2015. And so then at the party, I was wondering why Ramona and Monica, why they were acting a certain kind of funny towards me. And it's like, if y'all were mad at me and didn't want to be bothered, why did y'all send for me to come to this party and then start, after we get out the car, then you start acting weird, And so then me and Ramona had, got into it or whatever. And so when I tried to offer at the end of the party, after the party was over, I said, well, Terica, would you like for me to help you clean up? And she turned around and like got the most aggravated and annoyed looking face at me. So I'm like, never mind then. So, so I mean, as I said, they even brainwashed and got friends of the family or extended family, you know, hating my guts or having a certain opinion about me without getting to know me. And so then later on that night, I mean, and that was the night when they had that one. Terica's baby had turned a year old, or was maybe she was like a couple of days shy of a year old, and so that baby. We're from New Orleans, so they do stuff like twerking and popping and shaking their asses. And the thing is, they train the daughters. Soon as the baby is old enough to walk, they start to try to. As soon as she's old enough to stand up, they try to teach the like New Orleans women try to teach the daughter how to shake her ass and pop and twerk and stuff like that. And it's been going on since like the 90s. Probably even before then. So I remember at that event, they were trying to teach and train the 1-year-old. Barely, the baby was 11 months old, almost a couple of days shy of a year old, and they try to teach that baby to shake her